Officer Tatum.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47 is the dog, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47 is the dog, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still he answered the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum Show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning big, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to another episode of the Officer Tatum Show. As you notice, I'm in a different studio. I'm at the ADF conference. They've put on this great studio for me to do my show in. So I hope that you guys like it. If there's technical difficulties, just forgive us, all right? We're trying to do our best doing something very different than we've done in the past. Trying to do this remote is pretty cool, but it also comes with some technical challenges at times. So I want to get into a whole bunch of stuff that I've been talking about. I've been waiting to get back with you guys and talk about a lot of issues that have gone on over the weekend, and also things that I experienced being at the TPUSA event, which was SAS, the Student Action Summit, which is one of the largest events in the nation for conservatives and one of the largest events for Turning Point USA. So let me start with this. I want to go to the first story of the day, and then I'm going to get to the Turning Point USA stuff because there's a lot of meat and potatoes there. So my goal for you guys is to always be the one that presents you with the truth. I don't care whose side gets offended. This is one thing I have a problem with when it comes to Donald Trump. I'm just going to throw it out there. We've been talking about this auto pen thing. We've been talking about Dr. Fauci's pardon and clemency from all these other people done with the auto pen, and Donald Trump and others have been claiming that somehow people are going to go to jail over it, and that should be like, I don't know why he does these type of things. I'm gonna let you play the clip so you can. I'm gonna play the clip so you can hear what he says, and then I'm gonna tell you why I'm frustrated with the fact that we even bringing up this auto pen thing without giving the full context. But I'll give you the full context here in a second. But roll the clip.
Thank you, Mr. President. On a separate topic here, President Biden, of all people, spoke to the New York Times over the weekend. He did not speak to them on the record during his time in office at all, but he spoke to them recently. And he defended his use of the auto pen and said that he signed off on every decision. But at the same time, the Times reports that he did not individually approve each name for the categorical pardons that applied to large numbers of people. What are your take on that? Any new revelations from that?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the auto pen. Look, the auto pen, I think, is maybe one of the biggest scandals that we've had in 50 to 100 years. This is a tremendous scandal. And I know the people on the other side of the, see that desk, that Resolute desk? Unfortunately, he used it before me. But, you know, we have our choice of 7 desks. They're all beautiful, but I chose the Resolute, and so did he, unfortunately. But the people on the other side of the Resolute desk, I know them. Lisa, the whole group, and they're no good. They're sick people. And I guarantee he knew nothing about what he was signing. I guarantee it. So they're going to figure it out, and we'll see what happens. But to me, the auto pen, you know, you elected president. You know what the auto pen is supposed to do? Sign thousands of letters from young people that write. We get thousands of letters a week, Susie, right? Thousands. I mean, tens of thousands sometimes. I look at a room, there's a room where we have many, many people working, responding and sending letters back. That's what an auto pen's supposed to be. To write to a young 7-year-old boy that writes to the president, and he wants to be president someday, and he loves America. That's what the auto pen's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be for signing major legislation and all the things. No, the auto pen, and I doubt he knew. I doubt they even spoke to him about it. I think they had, it's called a freewheeling auto pen. Like, Biden was never for open borders. Biden was.
All right, so you heard a little bit about what Trump had to say. Now, this is my thing. I don't have a problem with Donald Trump talking about this. I don't have a problem with Donald Trump bringing up the issue. The fact that bothers me is that nobody's going to go to jail over this stuff. We continue to bring up these issues. We continue to have this in my opinion, this false outrage when nothing is going to happen to these people. Like, I wouldn't mind us bringing up the auto pen situation if it was unconstitutional to use the auto pen, if no president has ever used the auto pen. I get what Donald Trump is saying, that it's not supposed to be used this way, but there's no law in place that says you cannot use it this way. It has been done in the past. It's been done multiple times. And unless we can unequivocally prove that Joe Biden had no idea about how these things transpired or that pardons were given out on his behalf, you have to prove that he had no idea of it, which he goes on record to say he knew. There's impossible to prove that he didn't know. And the thing that bothers me, and this gets to the Jeffrey Epstein thing, is that I think that we live in an age where our politicians are almost like social media content creators, more so than political people who take a stance, and they're mindful of the things that they say and the promises that they make. The problem that I see happening all too often is that we jump off the cliff to go viral, to say something about Fauci, to say something about the Clinton Foundation, to say something about these things when the people in government either know or they refuse to they either know they can't or they refuse to prosecute people on these things. They take us through this rigmarole process where we are thinking that people are going to be held accountable, that people are going to go to jail, that people can get indicted, that will get indicted, that should be indicted, and then they get in the office and nothing happens. And a lot of times the reason that nothing happens is because they know nothing can happen, but they like to sell us a nightmare so we can get all riled up and we can vote and we can become passionate, but they know for a fact they're never going to accomplish the things that they say they're going to do. This is what bothers me about these not false conversations, but these pointless conversations. Why are we talking about Joe Biden in the auto pen at all if we're not going to prosecute him and there's not going to be a legitimate investigation? He's not going to go to jail for any of this stuff. Why are we even talking about it? Like, the people have better business to take care of than to be listening to all of this fake outrage that's never going to result in anything. Hillary Clinton is not in jail. Director Comey is not in jail. Mueller is not in jail. Bill Barr is not in jail. I mean, you go down the list. Biden is not in jail. His son is not in jail. I mean, none of these people that have been doing nefarious things for a significant amount of time is ever getting prosecuted or ever going to see jail time. And I personally believe, whether it's the attorney general, whether it's the president of the United States of America, quit talking about things that you cannot guarantee that we're going to see justice in. It just makes us perpetually upset about things year in and year out when you guys know it ain't even a big deal. Let me give you an example. This whole Epstein thing has been such a catastrophic failure, in my opinion, on behalf of this administration. The first time and the second time Trump has been in the office. Why? Because the investigation and the arrest of Epstein happened under Trump's administration. Bill Barr is the one that, you know, pretty much brought the prosecutory charges, and Epstein was imprisoned in 2019. So therefore, the investigation had gone on. The facts and circumstances surrounding the affidavit to arrest Jeffrey Epstein was already things that had been investigated under the Trump administration. He was put in jail. Nothing was disclosed then. And then we had 4 years of a nut job. And then we come back and then nothing is disclosed now. But yet Don Jr., and nothing against Don Jr., I love all those guys, but they were on television incessantly saying that there's an email list and all these pedophiles on the list. This is why people are afraid. They don't want to come out because they're afraid they're on the list and they're going to get indicted, and this is a pedophile ring and all this other stuff. And then now what do we have? Absolutely nothing. They're literally as if they're mad at us for even questioning the fact that there was supposed to be this list. Pam Bundy was asked, what about the list? She said, it's on my desk right now. I haven't reviewed it yet. And then all of a sudden, no, there ain't nothing there. Let's close the case. It's been a catastrophic failure. And the failure happens, and I'm not sure where it started. Because I don't know if the failure started because there was never any there. But they wanted to be salacious, and they wanted to make us keep coming back to their podcast and listening for this juicy news and this tea that was really never verified. And so now that they get in the office, there's no there. And all this false, equivalent information of whether we're going to justifiably put people in prison or not, or whether it's this huge pedophile ring, was probably never a thing. That's one theory. And therefore, when they're in office, they don't have nothing to show us anyway. But things that had already been released under the previous administration, redacted content, and then now they're saying there's really no list. So it makes me upset because either before they lied to us and was deceptive and pushing motives with no verification, or they are deceiving us today, which is another kick in the face, which is another situation where we're like, well, who's going to be held accountable? The answer is nobody. It just bothers me. And then the way we're disseminating information. Pam Bundy made it a big deal. Kesh Patel made it a big deal. Everybody made it a big deal. It seems that Trump don't care about it. Can you guys get on the same doggone page for once? You're an adult, or you guys are adults collectively. Get in a room and say, hey, the people are really concerned about, or people are really finding interest in this Epstein thing. Let's find a way to coordinate a presentation for the people as to our findings, why we found the way we have, and why there's no there when we've been saying it for the last, I don't know how many years. And it's the same thing with this auto pen. Let's stop talking about things unless people finna go to prison. If Hillary Clinton ain't going to prison, why waste the time? Let's talk about things that the American people are interested in. And this brings me to my next point. And you guys know, and I think some of you guys disagree with me on this, but I cannot stand Tucker Carlson. I cannot stand Tucker Carlson. I can't stand him. I normally don't want to say it publicly because I don't want a riff in the party, but I can't stand him. He was at Turning Point USA, and he brought up the fact that he believes that, and I know why he believes that Epstein was a part of Mossad. And I think it's because he literally had been bitten with the anti-Semite bug, and now everything he think about has to be correlated to the Jews in a negative way. This is what I will say. There is no evidence that we have, to our knowledge, an investigatory evidence, whatever you want to say that Epstein was Mossad, or he was acting on behalf of the intelligence from Israel. Now, could he be? Yes, you can have a theory. You can have a hypothesis. We need to investigate. But when you have somebody coming out and making a declarative statement and then gaslighting and shaming people who would dare question him and say, why are you saying this when you don't have unequivocal evidence of it? He could have been part of our CIA. How do we know? And this is what me and my wife talk about, and we don't always agree on it. How do we know he wasn't a part of the CIA? How do we know he wasn't a part of the CIA and Mossad? How do we know this guy just wasn't a prolific pedophile that was into nasty sex stuff and had a lot of money to do it? How do we not know that he wasn't blackmailing people? Or maybe he wasn't blackmailing people, or maybe he was. He was just blackmailing people on his own behalf versus blackmailing people on behalf of a government entity. To me, this is what I tell people. when it comes to this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, none of us really know the truth. And I see people out here saying, I no longer support Trump. I no longer support because of this Epstein thing. Just know that you are making a decision to no longer support a president for things that you have no idea about in the first place. There has never been any concrete evidence, and that I know of, that Jeffrey Epstein was working for a foreign government and that he used it to blackmail people. And I don't think that there's ever been any unequivocal evidence of that. So I'm not mad at Donald Trump for the stance that he took. I didn't vote for Trump to do everything that I want him to do. I voted for him to do the things that he campaigned on. But if he has to pivot to do what's right for America, I voted for his acumen and his ability to act right or righteously on behalf of the American people. Therefore, that if the Epstein file came out and they said they were going to release it, if he doesn't release it for a reason that he believes is in the best interest of America, I'm okay with that. I just want them to be honest with us. I'm not going to not show up to the midterm because of a Jeffrey Epstein thing. Jeffrey Epstein, whether he a pedophile or not, whether people were involved or not, have probably zero to do with the taxes, the economy, tariffs, illegal aliens, the future of America, getting rid of DEI, getting rid of propaganda, the LGBTQ AARP, a terrorist group, all these other things that they're doing in our country that are making us go downhill fast. Those things are more important than whether Epstein was a pedophile and whether he was politically involved with 2 or 3 or 15 people. I think that we should know that if it's available, but that shouldn't be the way a determining factor in how you vote. All right. I didn't say enough about enough. All right. Let's get to some other stuff. Okay. I wanted to talk about this incident that I saw over the weekend. Some of you guys may have seen this viral clip. And it was a deranged man at the Turning Point USA event. Now, if I was there, we would have had to get him a blanket and a sleeping bag because he would have been asleep on the side of the road trying to attack people because he disagreed with their theology or he disagreed with their sentiment of being conservative. And when you find me a lunatic on the right that gets out of his car in the middle of an intersection in front of police to challenge some kids on the sidewalk because he differs in his belief systems, then I'll give somebody $100. The problem is you'll never find this. You will only find leftist lunatics jumping out their car to assault and accost 20-year-olds. This grown man, I'm telling you, and I put my life on it. If I was on the side of this road right here, I guarantee you this guy wouldn't have done what he did. See, he see little kids on the side of the road and he think he can bully them. He would, okay, y'all know. I hope I don't never have to prove this to y'all, but y'all know that this will never happen when real men are standing, and I say real men, that they perceive as real men that would challenge them is standing on the side of the road. Watch this nut job, and then watch the police officer take him down. And the police officer had to be 60 and still took him down. That tell you what kind of weenie this guy is. Roll the clip.
Show me your shorts, boy. Look at this guy. Look at you, bro. Come on.
Okay.
Where you at? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Get you in the bathroom. Come on. Come on. Come close. Jump. Come close. You ready? You ready? Oh, you want something? You ready? Come on. Come on. Come on. Your car. They're gonna steal your car. They're gonna steal your car.
Hey, come over here.
Oh, wow. Fighting. Now he's fighting.
Give him top. What a weenie.
There we go. We got the arrest.
See, look, if this was in California, this wouldn't have happened, right? He would have been able to spit on people, throw a rock and hit somebody in the head, pull a gun out on people. Then he'd be able to get back in his car while the police officers is standing there. How do I know? I've seen it happen before. People bludgeon people right in front of the cops in California, and they do absolutely nothing. Now, obviously in Florida, they're not playing no games. I don't care if it's Tampa, it's Orlando, you name it. In Florida, they not effing around with you. Even a 60-year-old man by himself to go out there and detain the guy and take him to the ground. That's what it's supposed to be like. But why is it that the people on the left seem to not be able, let me give you guys a wisdom real quick. A little bit of nugget of wisdom won't cost you nothing. It's free 99. The people who are most offended in the conversation are normally the people who are wrong. If you get into a debate with somebody and you see one side that's incredibly flustered and acting out of character during a debate or a disagreement, that person, in my opinion, subconsciously knows that they are wrong, and they get offended at the fact that they're wrong. I just say I had a conversation with some people recently about some theology, and I felt like the people that get the most animated and upset and they want to reject you, or they want to feel like, oh, I can't talk to you no more, I'm not your friend no more. And I'm not saying that the conversation went that way, but I could tell that the conversation was leaning. But when people start to say that to you because you disagree with them, then that tells you which side is right and which side is wrong. I don't get heavily offended when somebody looks at me in the eye and say Donald Trump is a racist. I'm like, okay, you want to have this discussion? I don't have to get mad at you because I'm finna destroy you in this discussion. This is easy work for me. Now, if I was wrong, I'd be offended and upset and yelling and screaming, and I can't be your friend no more. Just think about it for a minute. How many conservative people have said their liberal family members can't come to the dinner? They can't come to the party. 30 years of friendship, and I don't want to be your friend no more because I heard you voted for a Democrat. Yeah, I mean, you rarely find that to happen. I'm sure somebody did it, but it's rare to happen. The most vitriolic people are on the left because what? They're wrong. All right, here's another clip that I want to talk about real quick is these Democrats with these illegal aliens. Now, I told you guys before, I wrote an op-ed on this, and make sure you go and join my Substack. And that's a really good way to support me is Substack, and it's absolutely free to you. I think in perpetuity, I'm gonna have my Substack be free. And if you want to support and donate to help, you can. I don't want to charge people for content. That's one thing that I don't blame anybody for doing it. It's a smart way to do it, to be honest. If you have a paywall, I just don't like it because I never sign up for people's stuff if it costs money. I'm just saying. Now, unless I want to be, I'm saying to see content. Now, if I want to go extra up and beyond, and I want to be, I want to be a part of a squad, like some of the people that are part of my Tatum squad, that's different. That's up and beyond. You're going to be able to see every single video that I put out. I don't care if you pay money or not. It's all of the content that I put out is 100% free. Now, if you want to get it early, you want to get some extra perks, you want to have some emojis on YouTube and stuff like that, because there's preparation and a little bit of added work that's put into it, you can join the squad and get some extra stuff. You want to get an extra discount on the store, stuff like that, that's joining the squad. But the content that I put out, I want to make sure that it's available and accessible from anybody, no matter how much money you make. And I think the beauty of it is, as God called us to be, is cheerful givers. So if you want to support, you can support. If you don't have the money to support, you still can get the content. All right. Let's get back to the clip. So these lunatics, and the reason why, going back to the op-ed that I wrote, and I think the reason why they're so radical about illegal aliens is because this is their only opportunity to ever win back the country. They had this 200-year plan with the Negro. They had a 200-year plan. They used Martin Luther King and these other sellout blacks to round up the black population so that they can be working for the Democrat Party. I'm telling you, this is the truth. Al Sharpton, what's the other guy named? Jesse Jackson, Martin Luther King. Think about this for a minute. The key to the heart of the black community was the black church. And they utilized black pastors to tell them, get in line, do this, get on government assistance. Black people were flourishing at an incredible rate, at a higher rate than even white people in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. It wasn't until the 60s that you've seen the level of arrest, the level of single parenthood, the level of government assistance, the lack of infrastructure, the lack of financial security in the community, education, you name it. It has only been after the civil rights movement that we see these things happen. And when you go back in history, and I'm gonna move on, I promise. And when you go back in history and you look at it, you say, why did Rosa Parks, who had a car, get on a bus and boycott? To create a boycott. It was staged. She had her own car. At the time, black people had their own bus line. So why wouldn't black people just say, we're gonna ride our own bus line and support our own community instead of going out and making the white man let us on their buses? Why in the world would a woman who have a car get on a bus and sit in the back anyway, or refuse to sit in the back anyway? When before Rosa Parks was on the bus, there was an actual situation that happened, but the reason they couldn't use the young girl because she was 16 and had a kid out of wedlock, and she wasn't going to be the face of the movement. So they recreated the movement with Rosa Parks. Now, I'm open to debate and discussion on this topic. However, this leads me to this point. Put the clip up there. The Democrats' last opportunity to be revived, it is if they can replace the black vote. They literally had black women vote 96+% for Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party, and they still lost in a landslide victory to Donald Trump. And if they hadn't tried to kill him and indict him and all that, he probably would have won at a greater rate than he did this time. But they're losing the black vote. The black men are leaving the Democrat Party in a way in which we haven't seen in decades. And the women don't count. And why don't they count? Like I said, 96% and they still lost. Black women could vote in the next election. Black women could vote 100% for Democrats and still lose in a landslide to Republicans. It's really the black men. Now they know they lost the black men. Eventually the black women will trail. And what is their new objective? Is to do anything they can and everything it takes to get the illegal aliens to vote for them so they can have another group on the government dole and they can control them and use them to win elections in a nefarious way. Roll the clip and so you can see how radical they are when it comes to illegal aliens. Roll it.
ICE says all 11 men arrested have ties to Southeast Asia. Today I spoke with one local Hmong community advisor. He does not defend the actions of these 11 men, but says that these deportations are borderline racist. And today we also looked at the timing of these arrests. 11 men arrested by ICE in the Twin Cities last month, targeting what federal officials are calling the worst of the worst. This news release from the Department of Homeland Security even calls out Governor Tim Walz, saying he and his fellow sanctuary politicians are fighting to keep these sex offenders and other criminal illegal aliens in our country. Instead of comparing ICE to the Nazi Gestapo, Governor Walz should be thanking our law enforcement for removing these pedophiles from Minnesota.
It's just a racist deportation that is target minority people. So if you're not white, you're not right to be here.
That's Dr. Brian Zhang, a Hmong Minnesota community advisor.
I'm not here to defend what they did, but I'm here to say, look, there had to be a due process.
We checked online court records, and the vast majority of these men were convicted more than a decade ago, long before Governor Walz was in office. All of them have either served their sentence or are on probation. Dr. Zhang believes these arrests are targeting the Hmong community.
It feels sad to make everyone look like we are criminal. Like we here, we don't have a purpose here. We just come here illegally, but that is not true.
I don't know if it's because they drinking some of this water or something that got something in it to make them stupider than stupid can be. I do not understand why they continue to conflate the two different things. If you are in this country illegally, the penalty, according to our laws, is that you get deported as a result. Now, you come here and commit a crime, you have to get arrested like anybody else and what? Deported. And if you are a sex offender, that means that you have manipulated and abused more than likely a young person or a woman. These are vulnerable people, and you already illegally in our country. Who is arguing that these people should stay? Who is arguing that they need some mysterious due process? Let me tell you this, and I think this is a sin of America. If you come here without a process, then you can leave without a process. How do you sneak through the border and then we have to take you to court for due process? You didn't even come over here with anything. If you go through the court process when you came over here through a port of entry, you seek asylum, you've gone through a court system, then to get you out of here, we should go back through the system that we got you in here in. But if you just snuck over here in the middle of the night, why do you get due process? That's the dumbest, most Ponzi scheme type thing that America that America has ever done. You sneak over here undocumented, you invade our country, and then all of a sudden you got 3 or 4 years in the criminal justice system to get you out of here. How is that? How does that make sense? If you sneak in, you sneak them back out. And people knew when they established it and when they begin to create a precedent that they would be able to get people over here and they would end up staying permanently. That's why they get here and they set up a court date for 2 years, 3 years from now. And people never show up to the court date. Why would they show up to the court date? They just mysteriously disappear into the country and they work for 35 years and they never get deported. Why would you ever pay money? No, listen, this is how they feel about you, for everybody that legally migrated here. Only the dummies pay to come to this country. Only the dummies are dumb enough to go through the process legally. Only the dummies care about America and want to add value to America and not just extract resources. So you dummies that did it the right way, shame on you. This is what they think about you. If they didn't think this about you, then they will be honoring the people who did it the right way and shaming the people who are thwarting the system. I could say it 200,000 times in a row, and I think these leftists still won't understand. They're trying to say it is it's racist to deport people who are illegally in this country. You know, I just would never understand because they know better. It's not that these people are caught off guard and they're just not hearing this for the first time. These people know better than what they're doing. Because the same monk organization or whatever, the same people that are advocate for the illegals, when Obama was doing it, where were they at? Where's the activism? When the kids were in cages under Obama's administration, where were they? Where were the people crying at the fences, holding on to the gate, crying when the gate opened right on the other side? You got AOC crying and hanging onto the gate, and it's open right here. She could cry on the other side of the gate, but she want to stage a photo op under Trump's administration, but not the Obama's administration. And Joe Biden never got criticism for Obama being a part of the administration with Obama that deported more people than any president in United States history ever. Where were they at? If they really cared, where were they at? Now, Donald Trump is using some unique emergency orders, the Aliens Enemies Act. He's using certain things that there's no precedent against what he's doing. And he's doing it to get these criminals out of our country. Because you don't need to go through what they consider to be due process if they are invading our country, which is exactly what they're doing. What are we saying? They're invading America. When we're trying to stop you at the border and you blow through the border anyway and run past Border Patrol agents, you're invading our country. You can't do that to Mexico, can you? Can you just walk into Mexico without a passport? And then if they catch you in there illegally, what happened to you? Let's try that in France. Just sneak into France without a passport. Go anywhere. Go to Russia without a passport. Go Israel without a passport. You think you're gonna be able to go into Israel without a passport? And you're gonna stay in Israel? You're gonna begin to live in Israel as an illegal person in that country? What do you think they're gonna do to you? What do you think is gonna happen? I went to Israel and their airport security is insane. Now, I don't blame them because they got to make sure terrorists don't come through there and blow them up. But the security is insane. They literally ask you, they literally take you to an interrogation. And if you mess around and say the wrong thing, they take you back for like a 30-minute interrogation evaluation. Now, thank God I said the right things, right? Because we kind of talked about it before we got to the airport. This is what you don't say. Because you say that, they're going to think this, and they're going to take you back and examine every bag you have and sit you back there and interrogate you for 30 minutes. That's just for you to fly into the airport with the passport. But somehow America has to capitulate to the stupidity and foolery of these people. I want to talk about this next thing. What was that I want to talk about? This fight that happened on the airplane on Frontier Airlines. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this because at first I didn't think it was worthy of talking about. But as crazy as this fight was, I thought it was invaluable to hear out the young man's side of this. Because what happened is they put the young black guy with the dreads. This is the thing that bothers me all the time. The person getting whooped, they always think that's the victim. Just because you're getting whooped don't make you a victim. Because a lot of times people start fights they can't finish. And so I guess the young brother was getting a lot of backlash online because people had only started watching the fight when he was dogging homeboy out and giving him shiners in row 25. But I wanted to, because it just, I don't know, it just hit me. I wanted to give his side of the story because I felt like that the media and even mainstream media didn't give his side of the story because the other guy looked like an immigrant or something, maybe a Free Palestine type person. And so they wanted to make him out to be a victim as if this was an unprovoked fist fight. Now, I don't know, do you guys have the clip of the fight itself? I don't know if you got it, Nick.
We don't.
You don't. I need you to pull up real quick because I think the fight itself is important. And we need the clip of the brother just talking by himself without somebody else's commentary. Do we have that clip? It's in the chat channel. I shared it. It's just him giving his story.
We got it.
You got it? Okay.
We got it.
So I'm gonna wait for you guys to pull up the fight. No, people can put it together. So find the fight itself. I think I shared it. Maybe I didn't, but it's all over Twitter and you know how to find it, Nick. Let's pull up his clip. No. I want to do it like this. Y'all forgive me. I want to show the fight first and then pull up his clip. So I'm going to wait till Nick and them get the fight. But allegedly, he was on the airplane and the guy was being crazy, talking crazy, making noises, taunting him, saying threatening things about him, according to the guy who was throwing the hands like Floyd Mayweather. And I guess that the guy was so radical, the guy that got beat up that was sitting behind him was so radical that girls that were sitting on his row kept looking back and like almost in fear of like, what's wrong with this guy? And he said he got up, told a flight attendant, hey man, this guy that's sitting behind me is saying weird things. He's saying threatening things against me. And I just want you guys to know that's what's going on. If he touches me, I'm gonna defend myself. And he said he went back to his seat. They said, hey, push the call button if he gives you any problems, and then we'll come address it. And I guess the flight attendants, according to him, said that we are aware of the issue, as if multiple people had told them about the guy. And so he goes back to his seat. The guy started getting foolish again. He pushed the ring button, and he said he turned around and confront the guy and say, man, what's wrong with you? He said the guy then gets up and forehead to forehead and put his arms on and start choking the brother with the dreads. And then you know what happened next? He started seeing stars like he was in Hollywood because the black dude started pummeling him, throwing him he went from aisle 17 down to aisle 20 with them right hands. And when I looked at it, I said, who is right and who is wrong in this situation? And it's sad that they said the brother was wrong immediately without hearing the full context. So I wanted to give him an opportunity or play the clip of him explaining himself. But we got the clip of the fight. I want y'all to watch it. This was viral over the weekend on my feed. I was seeing this everywhere. Roll the clip. They got a lady right there trying to rub his face. Calm down.
Grabbing my shirt. Let go. Grabbing my shirt.
See, I kind of spoiled it for you guys because I kind of told the story, but I want you guys to listen to what he had to say about it because I don't think he had an opportunity to give his side. And here you go, roll a clip.
I would like to take the time to clarify a few things. I'm getting many comments like the one above, of people saying that I provoked that man during the flight. First thing first, Good Morning America, ABC News, they have the narrative wrong. That's not the truth. They didn't take the time to ask any witnesses who were close by and actually witnessed the real thing, what happened. They interviewed the two girls who were at the front of the flight who videotaped what happened from a distance, whose video went viral. They interviewed them. They didn't even see what happened. All they saw was the aftermath. They seen and heard commotion going on in the back, and then they start recording their phone after we're fighting. And you guys want to go with that narrative. I've been getting a lot of hate speech. I've been getting a lot of negative comments, but I'm also getting an overwhelming amount of support. And for everybody who does support and is taking the time to go down the rabbit hole and find the truth, thank you. ABC, Good Morning America, I wish you guys would reach out and actually get the true story. There's plenty of witnesses who were around me in the vicinity, and they posted their own testimony to social media, and it aligns with the story that I told WSVN and what happened. I was the one who got out of my seat and went to the restroom. I was the one who told the flight attendants about the disturbed man who was sitting behind me, because I was in the front seat and he was in the back seat, and I informed them that this man is giving me threats and he's saying things to me. Before I even got up out of my seat, I had my headphones on. I'm listening to music. I'm looking outside of the window, admiring the sunset, and I hear somebody faintly laughing behind me. I can't hear it that loud because my headphones are on, but he was laughing that loud that I could hear him faintly in my headphones. I thought it was just a normal person watching a movie on their phone, some kind of funny movie, and I paid it no mind. But the two young women who were sitting next to me, they kept breaking their neck to look back to see what he was laughing at and what was wrong with the guy. And after they multiple times kept looking back, it made me a little worried, so I took my headphones off and I looked at them, and they looked at me with concern about the person behind me. I turn around and I ask the guy, "Are you good?" And he starts doing that villainous laugh again. Ha 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 ha. You're nothing but a weak man, a mortal man, a puny man. Like, he's saying things like that to me, nobody else, to me. I didn't even know this guy was behind me the entire flight. I just start laughing about it because I think it's funny. I'm like, what's wrong with this crazy guy? Why is he talking to me like that? I just get up. I'm like, I go to the restroom and the flight attendants are right there. So I say, "Hey guys, there's a disturbed, deranged man behind me. He's giving me things like death threats and stuff like that. I'm just letting you know that if he puts his hands on me, like, I'm gonna defend myself." I tell them that. They're like, "It's okay. We basically already know about what's going on." They let me know that they were aware of him. And they told me to go back to my seat and press the button if he continues. So I do just that. I walk back to my seat. As I'm sliding back through the aisle to get to 18F, which is where I was sitting, he's jawing off at me again. "Oh, you weak man. You go to the restroom and you're looking at yourself in the mirror because you're just a weak man. If you challenge me, it will lead to your death and your destruction." He's saying evil things like this to me. And as soon as he starts jawing off again, I just get up, I press the button, and I turn around and I question him. I said, "Yo, what's your problem? I'm not with any of that demonic stuff that you have going on." And he gets up immediately. He puts his forehead on my forehead, face to face, and he grabs me with both of his hands and he starts to choke me. You guys are saying things, "Oh, if you're a man of God, why didn't you use your words? Why didn't you rebuke him?" What would you do if you were in a confined space on an aircraft and another stranger you don't know stands up and starts to choke you?
Y'all know what I
defended myself. I did what any rational person would do. Okay? I genuinely concerned for this man, Ashan. Whatever demon, whatever situation he was going through, I pray that man gets the help that he needs, because that is not okay. When is it okay to put your hands on another human being on a flight for no reason, unprovoked? I did nothing to him. I was minding my business the entire time.
All right, so the guy did get arrested, right? The other guy, not the black gentleman here, but the Sharma, which was his name. He got arrested upon landing, was charged with battery bond of $500 with the 500-foot no contact order, which means that he can't go within 500 feet of the gentleman that was just speaking right now. The defense claimed that he was meditating for religious reasons, which is why I guess he was being weird, I guess. What religion is he a part of? And he was provoked by Evans, who was the gentleman that was just explaining himself, which, it doesn't seem like that's the accurate truth. But the part is that the guy got backlash because he was winning the fight to start with, and then it comes out that he was right. So I wanted to give his side of the story because I felt like he didn't have a chance to say it at first, and all the mainstream media was painting him in a bad light. I got two more things I want to talk about just real quick, and then we're going to get up out of here. One of the other things is that a 7-year-old that was saved after being kidnapped at gunpoint. I remember seeing this case a couple of days ago, and we had dealt with, when I was a police officer, we dealt with a whole bunch of missing children. And a lot of times missing children are found. I mean, literally people call their children missing and their kid is in the backyard playing. Literally. That has happened more times than not. Most kids are not really missing. They're either trying to hide from their parents, or they playing a prank, or they've gone somewhere in a close proximity and the parent don't even remember, or the parent don't know because they weren't paying attention, and they call the kid missing and they end up being found. But this situation was crazy because when I first saw it, I thought nothing of it. I said, oh, the kid was missing and he's found, right? He's found safe is what they said on the news. But come to find out, he had got kidnapped. So he was missing because he got kidnapped. And it was a miracle that he was brought back to his family in one piece. Roll the clip.
An emotional ride would be the simplest way to describe Milwaukee over the weekend.
It's a lot. I was almost had an anxiety attack, but my heart's still racing.
Raven Jackson and Nikki Harrington can tell you firsthand.
We haven't been able to sleep. We've been crying off and on.
The two saw how in just a few minutes, sadness and suspense turned into celebration.
I don't know. I'm happy.
On Saturday, the women went from searching for their missing 7-year-old cousin to celebrating his return alongside dozens of cheering community members emotionally invested in finding him. Police say around 7 Friday night near 61st and Eustis, 7-year-old Jamal White was taken at gunpoint. Video shows a boy riding his bike down the sidewalk. Then a white Jeep pulls up behind it before a child can be heard screaming. Family members say that was Jamal. His screams echoed on through the block. The Department of Justice issued an Amber Alert for Jamal just before midnight. They urged the public to be on the lookout for a white Jeep, the same make and model seen on the video. Early Saturday, we met up with Nikki and Raven conducting a search party.
We just want baby Jay to come home.
But hours later...
Oh my Lord, they got him. That's him. They got him.
Jamal was found near 39th and Lloyd, safe and shaken up.
He looked like he was scared. He looked like he was scared, but he was okay. It looked like he was happy to see us.
A large crowd that gathered were also happy to see him alive. Family members say the community sharing his story was a big part in leading them here. They say they still don't know what led up to his abduction or his return, but they do know this.
He's home, he's safe, and whatever happened, we're glad that he's here and he's alive. Because it's very rare that you get an outcome like this.
Now, I have my skepticism because, generally speaking, 25-year-old man, he probably was black. That's why they don't have his face on the camera or nothing like that, because they don't really like pushing that. If he was a white man, they'll inscribe his name somewhere on the Bible to help you never forget. But he probably was a young black man. It sounded like, I don't know what the kid said. It sounded like he said something like daddy, 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 like calling for his dad. I could have misheard him. But what it makes me feel like is that typically a lot of times what happened in situations like this is normally people that know people. It's normally not as random as people think it is. Most murders are people murdered by people they know. The majority of all the murders are people that you know. It's kind of rare that a random person will come murder a person. Same thing with rape, same thing with kidnapping. It's normally somebody that knows somebody that end up kidnapping you. Either the kid, somebody on Roblox following them around or whatever, or somebody trying to get at a family member. And so they kidnapped his son because they were going to do some shenanigans, some ransom, some IG lives or something. You know, the ops are out. That to me makes me wonder: is that a part of it? Out of all the kids in the community, and at gunpoint, they took this kid into custody in broad daylight. That to me in my opinion, made me feel like they were really after somebody else, and they were going to leverage his 7-year-old son in order to make a point. And thank God for the community engagement that obviously they were able to arrest the 25-year-old man for kidnapping and abducting a 7-year-old. Now, the real question is, how much time is he going to spend in prison? At the debate, I debated with a leftist guy. He said he's not leftist, but he definitely has some flaky leftist viewpoints. But he kept talking about incarceration, and the biggest thing to America is incarceration. Now, you know, people go to jail because they're doing stuff like this. And they should be in jail. You know, it's not a flex to be like, we got so many people out of jail. Well, a lot of people deserve to be in jail. Majority of people that go to jail and doing real time, they didn't done something, right? Because you got into a fist fight one day on the side of the road once in your lifetime, you're not finna be doing no serious time in prison unless you kill somebody. If you stole from a store or something like that, you're not finna do no serious time in prison. If you get caught with weed on your person, first time offender, you're not gonna do no time. You probably do no time in prison. You sell drugs, first offender, you're not gonna do a lot of time in prison. People that are doing significant time in prison have done significant crimes, or they are repeat offenders. 100% true. So anyway, this guy, if they ever gave his identity, you'll realize that this person is probably a repeat offender. It's probably somebody the family knows. And also, he should probably be in prison for a long time, which he's not. Therefore, he's going to go out and reoffend. It's the sad truth, the reality of our justice system. Should we talk about Bill Maher? Or was that the clip we didn't like as much? I think y'all hear me in there. Y'all hear me, Nick?
We got another clip, but it's on Bill Maher's show bashing Democrats.
Is that the clip that you guys have presented for me here? Let's play the clip. Let's play a clip and see what it is, because it was a clip over the weekend that we saw Bill Maher saying some incredible things against the Democrat Party. And the only reason I want to share this is because it's not often that you see people this elevated who was a leftist say the things that most people should be saying about the leftist party. All right, wrote a clip. And this is it. Wrote a clip.
Seriously, this is a serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed? Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual, because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is. Although don't get Tucker Carlson started on Russia. Globalize the intifada is the catchphrase that's really catching on these days, as if worldwide suicide bombing and cosplaying Islamic revolutionaries is the answer to our problems. At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom. This is. If the thought leaders in the Democratic Party keep encouraging and not rebuking the idea that America is cringe and the people who run Gaza are great, the Democrats are doomed. Alyssa Slotkin's right. Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of nonsense from their kids, a pattern that then continues on in the Democratic Party. Last election, it was all the gender stuff, the insistence that men can have babies and such, and now I fear that we like the terrorists is the new that. Liberals need to push back on the dumb ideas that come from their children. The Democrats' problem is the energy of the parties with the young and the young are with the terrorists. That's not good. So talk to your children and remind them you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas. All the shit you do all day, it was all made in America. Your smartphone, your Grubhub, your freedom to bitch about America, that's all American stuff. You tell your phone you want a milkshake and a guy brings it to your house. Please, you couldn't survive a week living in Intifadaville.
I have to say, I like that we ended on that. You know, I one day I'm gonna go on Bill Maher's show. I think that'll be a good conversation. Hopefully, I can smoke my cigar on there. But I think what he's saying is on point. And it's funny because I feel like he said it better as a former leftist than even conservatives said. These people have to be the dumbest, most disingenuous people on planet Earth. I mean, it's just. Why do you hate America so much when there's no freedom anywhere else like America? If you guys want to free Palestine, go free Palestine. How about all y'all go to Palestine? You don't want to leave this country. We need the billionaires are evil. Like, you have people really say billionaires and big corporations are evil, and they saying it on their Apple iPhone. Wait a minute, capitalism is evil? But everything you do involve the reaping the benefits of capitalism. The car you drive, the phone you're on, the television you're watching. It's capitalism. The job you have, somebody created that job. Unless you're working for the federal government, most people are working in the private sector. The job that you literally, Starbucks. They had Starbucks barista complain about America. Where do you think Starbucks came from? Starbucks is entrepreneurial. Founded that thing a long time ago when it was just one shop. They actually took over a shop. And then it became one of the biggest, I don't know, coffee shops in the world, in the history of the world. Some of y'all working at McDonald's, working at Walmart, working at Jiffy Lube, working at Publix. What are you guys talking about? This is all capitalism. This is all saying if you add value to the country will give you value back. You idiots are working for corporations that employ 40,000 people. And you want the CEO to be bankrupted and you hope that somehow he dies because he's a greedy, evil man. When that one man took the risk that you are not willing to take to create a corporation that you are not willing to do, to be up all night, losing sleep, hair falling out, stressed out, relationships damaged, because he put it in his mind that he was going to do whatever it takes to make this dream come a reality, and that you are now reaping the benefits of that dream that he worked so hard for, and you don't want that man to have the money for it. Then the tax time come around and you want him to pay more tax than you willing to pay. Make that make sense? And then the same people that you vote for saying they're going to make the rich be held accountable won't change the tax code, so they benefit from the same tax benefits that the wealthy benefit from. Ask Obama how they get all his money. Capitalism. And then he still pay less taxes, is still less philanthropic as Donald Trump, whom you guys were mad that he didn't release his tax returns. Bernie Sanders go sell a book and make $1 million off his book, and he don't give it to y'all for free. Bernie Sanders can give you the book for less than market value, can't he? He can make every book affordable to every person in America. Make every book he has $5. He ain't gonna do that. He gonna have the going retail rate for a book sold. Probably hike it up a little bit because he's a prominent person. He make all that money, go buy him a house in the Hamptons, and then on this hand, he crying and complaining about the wealth, the millionaires and billionaires. Let me tell you this. Next time you hear somebody say this, there is no law against you adding more money to the Treasury. There is no law against you paying more money than what they ask you to pay. You can make a voluntary transaction to give more money to the Treasury. Why don't the people who are rich and wealthy, who are Democrats, voting for wealthy people to pay more money, why don't they lead by example and give more money to the Treasury? They want to hike up the wealthy people's tax burden to 30 and 40%, 50% in progressive tax. Well, until they implement that, how about all the leftist millionaires and billionaires? How about they give that amount of money and lead by example, and everybody else will follow? they ain't finna never give their money up, man. They looking at these politicians like, yeah, tell them what they got to tell them to get the money. Tell them what you got to tell them so they can vote for you. We know he ain't gonna never do that, right? Therefore, we ain't gonna give you no money if you're gonna mess around and cut half of our expenses out. And we not willing to do it voluntarily. So we expecting you to make us do it. We vote for you to make us do something we can do voluntarily. It's the stupidest, most disingenuous thing ever. All right, I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys coming on. Let me do some super chats real quick and then we out of here. All right, let's start with the first super chat. Just so you guys know I can see it from here. I can see it on my computer screen. If I miss some, I think I'm missing some, to be honest. I think I'm missing a lot. Now, I don't know how I'm going to get these super chats on my screen. Because, you know, you guys, just so my media team, y'all, I'm talking to my media team. The TV that I'm looking at, y'all, is this little. So I can't see the super chats on the screen like I normally do. I'm trying to, I only got like 4 of them, but I saw like 15 of them on that one screen. But let me just get the ones I actually have here on the back end of my channel. Clayton says, and thank you, Clayton, for the $10 super chat. It says, my girlfriend is at home recovering from a 2-time mastectomy from breast cancer. If it's in your heart today, we would appreciate any prayers that you all can give. She is fighting, and God has her side. God's on her side. So if you guys can, we all can remember this young lady, Clayton's girlfriend, in prayer. You know, I believe that if you have faith, God is willing to forgive you and heal you. I've seen him do it before. That's all I got to say. I didn't see him do it before, so I don't think that somehow anyone is exempt or somehow unique from God's healing power. I think what you have to do is everybody has to come together on one accord and pray. And we'll say a prayer. We'll say a prayer during this live stream. Everybody on one accord, come together and pray. And Clayton, tell your girlfriend that she should believe that God can do anything. And I can't make a promise, but I do believe that God is faithful to do it. So after we do the super chats, we're going to come back and we're going to say a quick prayer. All right, let's see. Mama, thank you so much for the super chat. No one is above the law except politicians, right? 100%. Let's see. Anthony Ramos, thank you so much for being a part of the Tatum membership for 14 months. God has been moving, but I still need those prayers. Got diagnosed with BPD and CPTSD, and it's a mess, man. Anthony, okay, we're gonna add Anthony in the prayer today as well. Let's see. Tired of all the race baiting and guilt tripping that the left does. Tired of the if you don't accept us, you're racist narrative. I'm tired of it too. If you don't accept me, who I want to lay on the back of at night, that you homophobic. It's like, nah, man, that ain't my business. How many times we got to say that? Like, who you sleep with at night ain't my business, though. I don't know how do I know that you sleeping with another man at night? I don't care. It has nothing to do with me, man. That's on you. But stop trying to make me be involved in your stuff. I'm not telling you what I'm doing at night. I'm not getting you involved in my sex life. That's the thing that bothers me about the homosexual movement. It's like, bro, just do you, man. It's all good. You live in America, bro. But don't come to me trying to make me advocate for that. I was looking at this clip the other day. This girl was online crying about her dad never accepting her as a girl. I call her because it looked like a girl, but never accept her being a girl because she's a boy, and it's wrong that his faith dictate this and this. And I'm like, why can't it be a mutual level of respect? Don't you love your daddy enough to say, you know what, Dad, I may not agree, but I respect your perspective. And your perspective isn't wrong. It's your perspective. And the dad can look at his son that's now wanting to be a daughter and say, I may not agree with you. I respect where you're coming from, but that don't mean I have to capitulate. That don't mean I have to call you what you want me to call you or none of that. You respect me, I respect you. And we agree to disagree. Why does it always have to be one-sided? If somebody believes in God, like for instance, if my dad is a Christian and I wanted to do some stuff that's not Christ-like, I should have enough respect for my father to say, oh yeah, my father ain't down with that. So I'm not gonna bring that around my dad. I'm not gonna force my dad to accept things that are against his faith, because I love and respect him enough, just as much as I love myself, that I'm gonna respect what he has to believe. And there's nothing wrong with his faith. That's just who he is. And I'm gonna do me, and I respect my dad for who he is. Right? And then the dad is like, I'm gonna do me. Don't bring your boyfriend over the house. But I respect, if I come over your house, I'm not gonna say nothing about what you do in your house. And you on the relationship, I'm not gonna tell you to get out of the relationship. Just I don't want that at my house. And I won't bring what I'm doing to your house. Why can't people get along like that? But it can't be like that. It's that you gotta accept me or you hate me. All right, hello, illegal is illegal. We don't know whether you are a criminal or not. Deport them all. Come back the right way. I can't disagree with that. I know there's a level of compassion that's a necessity in this situation, right? You don't want to just beat people over the head with a club and make them get out of the country, but look, you came here illegally. You knew you did. It's not like people come here and they're like, dang, I thought my paperwork was legit. Somebody lied on my paperwork and they said it was legit, and now I find that it's not legit. That's different. When you climbing through a fence at nighttime and you done got escorted over here by coyotes and you in our country and you afraid to contact the police because you're going to get deported, you know you've been wrong. Go out and come in the right way like everybody else did. That's like me going to a university and I'm not on scholarship. I did not fill out an application to be at the university. I didn't get accepted to the university. I just go sit in a lecture class one day and now I'm a part of the university and I get a degree at the end. What? And then, I get a meal card too, right? I get a student union meal card because I'm here now. Right. And then I get access to all of the college courses and college counselors and resources on campus. And I just showed up one day and was in a lecture hall and I became a student. That, you know how crazy that is? A student looking at you being like, I pay $30,000 a semester or whatever. I don't know what college is these days, but I pay $40,000 a year to go to this university. I had to make straight A's in high school to be accepted into the university. My parents went through all of this stuff, and I visited all these universities to hone in on the one that was most beneficial to me in the future that I have. And I had to pay all this money, and you just walked in here yesterday and you get the same benefits I get. It's the same thing in the country. Black people and others and migrants built this country, and people come over here reaping the benefits of what we built and taking our taxpayer dollars to service everything that they need. Last year. And people have been here for hundreds of years fighting to make America what it is today. It's insane. All right. I'm gonna be done. I promise. All right, Bobby, thank you so much. It said, did you hear about some of the famous artists like JoJo, Billie Eilish, and some others are coming from the LGBTQ are turning straight now? It seems pride is dying down, but we shall see. Well, I think a lot of people just horny and weird. That's all it is. Man, you want to go. There's no such thing as bisexual. You just freaky. Just say I'm freaky, man. I like to try everything. Then just say that, bro. Don't be acting like I was born this way and no, you ain't no protect. You just horny. You want to sleep with both people. And because a lot of times really you like one or the other, but you just want to try it all. Just keep it real with yourself. Why people gotta lie and be fake? You want to try a girl and a boy, but then at the end of the day, if you follow them people throughout the course of their life, they quit being bi at some point. A lot of them people go marry somebody and then they with that person, whether it's a woman or a man. And then you realize that, bro, you ain't, you just say it. Just say you just like to play around and quit trying to act like that's some type of protected group. And a lot of these people that did it is because we all know, y'all know, I don't want to talk about this 100 times. It's just stuff be happening in people's lives and they get them and they get turned off by the way men treat them and they get abused by men and then they start and these women start turning them out. I could talk about this, but I'm not going to talk about it long. There's a such thing as these gay women be turning out straight women because they catch them when they're vulnerable. They do it to women in college basketball, college sports. They get them at the university. These girls be coming in straight and be leaving gay. Because what they do is they get them, their boyfriend cheat on them, and they, oh, sweetheart, come on. Let's hang out with me. It's going to be okay. And they rub their back and they talk to them and then they look them in the eye and they become their best friends. And then one day they sitting on the couch watching TV and they kiss them. And then now this girl that's straight have an intimate relationship with a woman who's been there for her and supportive of her while she got her heart broken by a man. And then eventually she get confused because she don't understand the emotional connection with this woman who's taking advantage of her vulnerability. And then now they become a little couple because she's tired of getting abused by men. She's tired of getting treated the way she's treated by men. Didn't have a good relationship with her daddy. And now she thinks she's finding a nice comfort place with another woman. And now she's away from home, so she don't have to face her parents. She can just do this on the side. I've seen it happen 100 times. The finest girls in college playing basketball started out straight, and then they were women at the end. And these women, and some of these women are predators. They prey on these vulnerable young women and they turn them out. It's called turning them out. And I think that's the same thing that happened in these situations. With Billie Eilish and them, it's people catch them vulnerable. They on Molly or something, and then they kissing a girl, and they think, "Well, man, I guess I'm gay." It's like, nah, you went too far down the wrong path, and now you coming back out of it. Let's see, Bobby. Thanks so much for the super chat. I'm almost done. It's amazing how the baptism saves you debate is still ongoing. People read your physical Bible, not your phone. Baptism is an act on when you place your faith in Christ. It will save you, but not from suffering. Now, I love you, brother, but I don't think not one thing you said is in the Bible. I don't know what you're referring to. Just, my theology with stuff like this is just read the Bible. What does Jesus say about the Bible? John 3, verses 3-5. Jesus said you must be born again of the water and of the Spirit. You go through Mark 16:16. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved. He that believeth not shall be damned. If you want to go to Matthew 28:19, go ye therefore teach our nations, baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, which is a commandment. Acts 2:38, it says, men and brethren, how should we be saved? Or he says, be baptized in the name of Jesus for the remission of your sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Holy Spirit. You go to 1 Peter 3:21. It says, baptism do it now save you, not the washing away of the filth of the flesh, but the answering unto God of a good conscience. Go to Romans 6:4, where it says that those of us who were buried in baptism or buried with Christ was buried in baptism and shall rise like he did in the newness of life. I'm paraphrasing. So just when you want to have a theological idea, just go with the scriptures. Don't go with a theology or like a theology of somebody's emotions. If you want to know, does baptism save you? All you got to do is read the Bible, and it'll tell you if it does or does not. But people go off of the outward expression of inward change and all that stuff. I don't really subscribe to that because I ain't never seen it in the Bible. I just go off of what Jesus said. We need more people that tell the truth like you. God bless you. Thank you, Michael. God bless you, Officer Tatum. Okay. I think that's everything. If I missed you, I'm sorry because I pulled the back end of my YouTube channel up kind of after the fact, and it only showed like a fraction of the super chats. But anyway, while you guys are on here, I forgot I'm supposed to do the prayer. Okay, I'm gonna say a quick prayer, but I want you guys to join my Substack. I write on Substack every day. I'm gonna write a couple articles, especially today about Trump and a few other things. And this is a good way to support me. It's a good way for us to stay in communication, because if something happens on this channel, I ain't gonna be able to contact none of y'all. Y'all gonna be looking for me, and people. I found 3 people over the weekend that have been falsifying accounts on TikTok claiming to be me. Got 60,000 followers. It's the same person using Black Conservative Perspective face. They used all the Black Conservative faces. Even they used Russell Brand's face. But all of the videos on the channel is all me. If you see that channel, report that channel. Every channel that don't have a tag, like don't have a special check mark, that ain't me. All right, let me pray, and then I want you guys to join my Substack. They'll put the link in the description section. All right, we're going to pray real quick for Clayton, and we're going to pray for, let's see where he's at. Clayton and Anthony. Hold on. Yeah, Anthony, okay? Clayton's girlfriend and Anthony, all right? If you guys, if you want to bow your head, bow your head. We're just going to say a quick prayer. Lord, thank you so much for waking us up, giving us a new opportunity to serve you. Thank you for being sovereign over everything in our lives. And God, there always comes a point in time in our life where we realize that our faith and our dependence on our health and strength and our lives moving forward is dependent upon you solely. not just, depending on our own understanding, but leaning to you for healing and deliverance. And I want to pray right now in the name of Jesus for Clayton's girlfriend in her diagnosis, that God, you will help her in the fight against cancer. You will help her in her faith. You will reveal to her that you are the only way, and that in faith in you, and in your word, you said, knocking it shall be open, seeking you shall find. It's when she has faith that you are faithful enough to open those doors and heal her according to her faith. And God, I pray right now in the name of Jesus that you heal her and make sure that the cancer doesn't come back, and make sure that she glorify you when that healing takes place. Also, I want to pray for Anthony and his diagnosis, that Lord, that you protect him, protect his mind, give him peace, give him courage, and allow his deliverance to be a testimony for other people, and also a testimony of your goodness, even to his own faith. So God, thank you for the many blessings that you've already done. We've seen you do it before, and we just ask you, and on one accord, all of us that are watching, can you do it one more time? And not just for Anthony, and not just for Clayton's girlfriend and Clayton, but for others who are watching, who their testimony or their request may not be known. God, you know their hearts, you know their situation. And I pray that through the power of our Lord and Savior, that you deliver them. And not only for a selfish motive to heal them, but to show the world that you're still in the healing business, and that with faith, all things are possible in you. And Lord, we thank you, we praise you in Jesus' name, amen. All right, I really do pray that God worked this out, but you got to have faith. And having faith means that when you say it the first time, you said it, you believed it, you meant it, let him deal with it. God is going to do one or three things for you when you pray. He's going to say yes, no, or wait. One of those things are happening. And so you can pray, but I really caution people against overdoing it, meaning that when you have faith in something, you put your faith in it and you let it go. Your next prayer is not necessarily, God, can you heal me? Your next prayer is that God, help me continue my faith journey because I'm struggling. I already know you can do it, but help me with my faith in it. Not re-requesting time and time again, heal me today, heal me today, heal me today. It's like, God already asked you, and I know you're faithful enough to answer me, but help me through the process of acknowledging or receiving what you have already done. Because what you don't want to do is question God every day. Did you do it? Did you do it? Are you going to do it? Are you going to bless me? Are you going to heal me? Can you heal me? God has done it. You just need to keep your faith. And let me just say this real quick, because I think it's important. Knocking it shall be open unto you, seeking you shall find. What does that mean? That means that you have to make an effort. And I think making an effort to go to the doctor, making an effort to put yourself out online, are all efforts in the right direction, and allow God to do what God is going to do. And if it helps you in your faith, read scriptures of how God has healed people in the past. Read scriptures of how Jesus had raised Lazarus from the dead. When you read some of those scriptures, it gives you empowerment to know that God will really do the unthinkable for you just as well as other people. I'll tell you this, go online and go to YouTube testimonies of healings and people giving their testimony how God healed them from cancer, how God healed them from PTSD, how God has healed them from ailments. When you listen to it, when you read it in the scripture, it builds your faith. And I personally believe the more genuine faith you have, the more you open up access for God to be able to work in your life. Because it really comes down to faith. Do you really believe? Because if you really don't believe, you ain't going to receive it. And I think, and it's not a battle of, do I believe enough? It's like you only have to have a faith of a mustard seed, but you still have to have faith. You can't be questioning it every day. Did you do it, God? Did you do it? He's going to do it. I'm going to tell this real quick because I'm sorry, man. I'm going to tell this story real quick. There was a girl that played basketball at the University of Arizona. I'm not going to say her name because I don't know how she feel about putting her business out there. But she was at our house because she was friends with my girlfriend at the time. And when you come to our house, we praying. So me, Rob, my friend BJ was there. She was there, and my girlfriend was there. We were in the living room. We're all praying. Now, Rob is a pastor, and he has the gift of prophecy. And so Rob is much older than us. And so we're all in the living room praying. We just praying out loud. God isn't it? Rob says to this young lady, tears in his eyes, everybody crying. I mean, I don't think I was crying at the time, but she was crying and my girlfriend was crying. And Rob was just passionately praying. I mean, he started praying and praying and praying. And he went straight to her. And you got to think, he don't know nothing about this girl. He says to her, he said something, it was so many years ago. He was like, God is going to heal you. God said he's going to heal you. And she started just losing her mind, crying, bawling. She said nothing to us. She cries, we done praying, everybody go home. She come back later and say, I just want to let you know that when I was at the house when you prayed, the doctor told me that I had been positive for ovarian cancer. And I was afraid to go back to the doctor because she didn't want to face what the doctor had told her as a diagnosis. She didn't want to go and follow up. She was terrified. Now, Rob had no idea that this girl is going through this. So when Rob said what God put on his heart to say to her, it hit her because she knew what she had got diagnosed with. She came back and said after she left, she felt a little more comfortable to go back and deal with the issue. She said she went back to the doctor to do another test or whatever to see how much it had progressed. They said that she has zero trace of cancer in the new test, and also they couldn't find a trace in the old test. And this is just my belief. And that girl has been healed from that. I don't know for how many years. And to me, God is faithful enough. And sometimes he can use other people to pray for you and pray and give you revelation that he will heal you and make it untraceable. And the doctor told her he had never seen a scenario where there was no trace in the original sample and also, the original biopsy and also the new one that they took to see how far along it had progressed because she neglected it for so long. And I'm telling you, that's one example. There's so many people. Somebody told me that he was cured. One of my friends called me on the phone. He played football with me. I did not know he had cancer. He told me that he was healed from cancer in 2016, I think. He told me the whole story when I was in the airport like 3 days ago. And he said that the doctor, it was the type of cancer that he had. He said the doctor said they had never, ever seen a person go from that to having no cancer whatsoever. And you can believe me or not. I mean, I don't really care if you believe me. You got to try it for yourself. I really do think God is still healing people. And if you're a Christian, you got to be out of your mind and believe that God ain't healing people. I mean, I don't know if you're a Christian if you don't believe that. You've seen what Jesus did in the Bible. And the Bible says, Jesus told his apostles, greater works than these shall you also do. The apostles forgave sins. They healed people. They rose people from the dead. The apostles did a whole bunch of things. Why? Because the same spirit that's in Christ Jesus shall also be in you. So the same power that was imparted into Christ Jesus to do all of those measures are also now in you. And you should have the gift of the Spirit with the fruits of the Spirit. And also the spiritual gifts. And healing is one of those things. Prophecy is another one. Read in Corinthians 13, 14, I think. 15, 14, 15, somewhere around Corinthians there. And so I'm just telling you what the Bible say. I love you guys. I appreciate you. We should be in the studio at least a few more times this week so y'all see me again. And I want to say thank you to my staff, okay? Because I know they've been sitting here listening to me talk for like 2 hours. So thank y'all to my people holding it down in Phoenix, Arizona. And shout out to y'all. I love y'all. God bless you. I'm out.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud